Yo, what's good? So, I just caught SportsCenter on ESPN, and the entire panel was absolutely losing their minds about multiple massive and interconnected stories involving the Golden State Warriors that have fans simultaneously celebrating an impressive road victory, while also intrigued by blockbuster trade speculation that could address the team's front-court depth issue. There's updated seismic reporting emerging that the Warriors could realistically pursue Dallas Mavericks athletic center Daniel Gafford in what would be a significant trade acquisition that completely transforms Golden State's interior presence and provides the elite rim-running, lob-catching ability this team desperately needs. But before diving deep into that explosive Daniel Gafford trade speculation, the SportsCenter crew absolutely had to break down the Warriors' dominant 18-point victory over the New Orleans Pelicans, where Moses Moody absolutely erupted for a career-high performance. The analysts emphasized one thing they've genuinely been thinking about, is what someone brought up in the discussion. The Warriors can still sign Seth Curry, and it's honestly a little weird that they haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. The date they believe was November 11th was when Golden State could officially re-sign Seth Curry, and the panel wouldn't mind getting a legitimate look at Seth for some bench minutes because if he can be the flamethrower scorer in reserve minutes that they hoped Buddy Hield could consistently be, then maybe the Warriors don't have to deal with Buddy being frustratingly inconsistent on the nights when he's not knocking down shots. The crew is genuinely surprised the Warriors should have been able to sign Seth by now. The organization said they were going to sign him, and they just haven't executed it yet. So nobody really knows what's going on with that situation behind the scenes. Hey, what's up everyone? Before we dive into everything I have for you today, I need to ask you something that takes literally 1 second but makes a massive impact. That like button right there? Hitting it right now would help me more than you could imagine. I know you're eager to get into all this content, but real quick, just smash that like button. It's such a simple thing, but it's honestly the biggest way you can support this channel and help us reach more fans who are hungry for this kind of content. Trust me, every single like pushes this video to more people, so do me that quick favor right now. One thing the SportsCenter panel emphasized is you kind of replace Klay Thompson with Buddy Hield to a certain degree, and obviously, when you're talking about Prime Klay versus Prime Buddy, there's absolutely no comparison whatsoever in terms of overall impact. Buddy got his jersey number retired up at Oklahoma, where he was a star collegiate player, and he's hit just about as many three-pointers as anyone not named Stephen Curry in NBA history. Buddy is going to continue climbing up that all-time list and be way up there among the league leaders. He's legitimately had a good productive career overall when you look at the totality of his body of work. But in terms of what the Mavericks are currently paying Klay Thompson to play for them versus what the Warriors are paying Buddy Hield to play for Golden State, if you take away all the nostalgia and emotional attachment and just look at present-day production, the Warriors probably made the right business decision to move on from Klay and go with Buddy based on what the panel has seen so far this season. The analysts understand why people naturally make the Buddy to Klay comparison given the circumstances, but they think it's just wrong-minded to look at Buddy Hield as any kind of Klay Thompson replacement because he's fundamentally not that type of player. Separately from that comparison, if there were any questionable decisions regarding Klay's departure, it's whether the Warriors should have waited as long as they did to move on. The crew loves Klay, and nobody is a bigger Klay Thompson guy than the panel. But if you're talking about the hard business realities of professional sports, Klay was genuinely not a positive asset in his final season with the Warriors from a production standpoint, and that's precisely why he didn't command a lucrative contract on the open market. Someone astutely noted in the comments, "It's the Buddy Hield cycle. Come on guys, we're all used to this now." And that's genuinely the Buddy Hield experience in a nutshell. The statistical pattern goes something like 4 for 20 shooting one game, then 13 for 18 the next, then 3 for 7, then 0 for 3, then 2 for 3, and suddenly you're back to 4 for 20 over a 5-game stretch before he randomly goes 13 for 18 again. But this current year, the Buddy Hield experience has been more consistently like 4 for 20, 5 for 20, 6 for 15, and then 4 for 20 again. The SportsCenter crew doesn't think Buddy has really popped off enough yet, where Golden State has experienced the full positive side of his game. It's mainly just been pedestrian, mediocre Buddy, so when he knocked down 3 triples tonight, even in garbage time, it's a welcome sign that maybe his shooting touch is returning. Maybe that's all it takes psychologically is a couple garbage time 3-pointers tonight to get Buddy's confidence going, and maybe the Warriors get one of those explosive 13 for 20 stretches over the next 3 games, or maybe even in the next game alone if Buddy has his way. The panel thinks of Seth Curry as kind of a more consistent version of that shooting ability, which is why they wouldn't mind seeing Seth back on the roster, getting an opportunity. But the Buddy experience is the Buddy experience, and it's been a little down overall on the year, though that usually means there's a good hot streak coming later in the season when his shooting evens out. But now let's transition to the explosive Daniel Gafford trade speculation, because this could genuinely address the Warriors' biggest weakness. The motivations for the possible trade of Daniel Gafford, the athletic rim-running center for the Dallas Mavericks, are genuinely complex and involve a strategic combination of salary considerations, on-court performance evaluation, and the team's organizational need to adjust their roster composition according to the comprehensive SportsCenter analysis. Looking at the saturation of players at the center position for Dallas, the Mavericks acquired Daniel Gafford back in February 2024 in a trade, but the team already has Derek Lively III, who possesses tremendous potential and developmental upside, plus veteran Dwight Powell, in addition to other players who can competently handle center minutes in certain lineups. This creates genuine saturation and overcrowding of big men competing for limited front-court minutes. Although Daniel Gafford has demonstrated good performance and production when given opportunities, the Dallas organization may ultimately decide to place more developmental faith in the younger Lively and free up valuable rotation space for other positional needs. There's also fascinating contract strategy at play. Daniel Gafford signed a contract extension of 3 years worth $54 million back in June 2025. However, the specific terms and structure of that Daniel Gafford contract were deliberately crafted in such a way that he could be traded immediately without any restriction, which is quite telling about organizational intention. This strongly suggests that the Mavericks front office may have offered Daniel Gafford that extension specifically to make him a more attractive and tradable asset with a reasonable medium-term contract, rather than leaving him in the final year of his previous deal, where his trade value would be significantly diminished. The Mavericks also have a pressing organizational need to substantially improve their perimeter defense, which has been a glaring weakness, and the potential trade of Daniel Gafford could be the key to acquiring wing defenders who help address that critical deficiency. The team has been consistently vulnerable to quick penetrating guards and long-range shooting, so Dallas may genuinely need more versatile, switchable perimeter defenders to complement whatever offensive pieces remain after their roster upheaval. There's also the financial reality that Daniel Gafford may seek a significantly higher salary on his next contract renewal, something potentially in the range of $17 to $20 million annually, which could prove prohibitively expensive for the Mavericks' salary structure and long-term flexibility. If the organization doesn't want to commit that level of money long-term to a backup center, trading Daniel Gafford now would be a strategic way to avoid a potentially contentious contract negotiation down the road. The possible trade is also being viewed as potential salvation for the team. The Dallas Mavericks traded away Luka Doncic back in April 2025, which completely unbalanced their roster composition and competitive timeline. The potential trade of Daniel Gafford could be a strategic way to attempt saving the team and restoring roster balance, since Gafford is a valuable player who can attract quality trade proposals from contending teams. For the Golden State Warriors specifically, acquiring Daniel Gafford would provide exactly what this team desperately needs: elite athleticism, rim protection, vertical spacing as a lob threat, and pick-and-roll efficiency that would beautifully complement Stephen Curry's playmaking. Daniel Gafford's shot blocking and defensive intensity would give Golden State a legitimate rim protector to pair with their perimeter defenders. Gafford's ability to finish above the rim and run the floor in transition would be perfect for the Warriors' up-tempo system. The Sports Center crew thinks if the Warriors can acquire Daniel Gafford without surrendering critical future assets, he could be the interior presence that transforms their front court from a weakness into a strength and makes them legitimate championship contenders. So that was the comprehensive breakdown of Moses Moody's career-high 32 points, the Buddy Hield shooting struggles, plus the explosive Daniel Gafford trade speculation.